So let's tell your story. There's three parts to your story structure. Part number one is your struggle or your problem. It's kind of that first part of it there. You want to describe your struggle and your problem. Part number two is the God moment. And part number three is the result. Like, what are the results or the benefits that you have now because of that God moment? So, in the first part, you're going to take a moment just to describe a struggle of some kind that you had. It could be a specific event, it could be a season of time, but you're going to describe that and you're going to use words that are feelings based. So, when you're telling your story, people are going to connect with you. They're going to relate to you if you talk about your feelings. We all don't have the exact same experience that you did, but we have, in different ways, felt what you felt. So there's a list of words that I'm providing, and what I want you to do is go through that list and pick one, two, or three words that you want to focus on. So you could choose a word like alone, and you can unpack that. You can unpack your entire story could just be about how you felt alone and how you were able to overcome that through God's help. Or if that's too deep for you, you can choose like three words. Like you might choose alone, fearful, depressed. So that'll help people begin to understand your situation by just saying, hey, here's how I felt. I felt alone. So maybe your story is like, hey, I moved from Florida. I moved away from family. I felt alone. I felt afraid. I felt depressed. So you just want to unpack that tension. That's a great part of just helping people to come into your story, understanding that there is a problem. The second part is that you want to talk about your God moment. So your God moment is when God spoke to you in whatever way to then prompt you to do something, to take action. So again, I have a resource that gives you a few different ways that God might have spoken to you in that moment. So maybe he used the church, maybe he used a pastor, maybe he used a friend, maybe he used a connect group, maybe you were serving. But whatever that looks like, describe your God moment. So in this example, maybe you were alone, you moved to a new state, you moved away from family, you felt alone, you were depressed, you were afraid. But maybe in a moment you were just scrolling on your phone at home, feeling depressed, but then you saw a picture of some really great people that looked like they were having a great time together, and you realized they were part of a church. And something inside of you just said, "Hey, I need to go to church this weekend," and you came to church. So maybe that's your God moment. Maybe that's how you choose to describe your God moment, where you just had a some sort of encounter with God, and He prompted you to do something. So you took action, and so that's the second part. The third part is the results. So when you took action, when God did something, He connected you with that church family. Now you need to describe the results. And again, there's a list of words to help you to go through this at the on this web page that I'm going to provide here, and go through that list and describe your feelings. How did you feel? And here's a tip: find words that are opposite of what you said the struggle was. So if you were alone, maybe a word that you find now is connected. I feel connected. Now I was alone, but now I feel connected. Instead of depressed, you could talk about joy. Now I have joy. Instead of fear, you could talk about confidence. Now I have confidence. So now your story has a flip side to it. So, hey, I moved to a new state. I felt alone, afraid, depressed. I was scrolling through my phone one day, just feeling depressed, and I saw this amazing picture of some great people that were part of a church. I showed up, and I felt welcomed. And then you can go to the results now. Now I feel connected. Now I feel confident. Now I feel that I am full of joy because I have a great church family. So you can see how that really makes your story flow. Your story does not have to be long. It could be a minute long. It could be 2 minutes long. That's about the sweet spot where we want in order to show this in service or on social media, just to encourage people. Remember, your story is designed to encourage other people in their walk with Jesus, to begin to understand who God is. So the final question I want you to answer in closing out your story is this one big question, and it's this: what do you know about God now that you didn't know about him before? So just start your response by repeating the question. The thing I know about God now is, and then go into it from there. And just keep it short. Remember, we have to keep it really short. So don't feel like you have to add a lot of content. Don't feel like you have to go overboard describing every little thing. Like, keep it really short and simple. Practice, practice, practice. Get it shorter and shorter and shorter. Time yourself when you're doing this. Again, aim for 60 seconds, maybe 2 minutes on the high end. Maybe you go a little bit over that, but aim for that time frame. And then once you record your story, or once you write down your story, we'll record it. So either way, sometimes we might ask you to record your story on a phone. Actually, that's good practice, by the way. If you just set up your phone and recorded yourself telling your story, that's really good practice to be able to see that and give yourself an evaluation. And then we might be recording you different on maybe a weekend or another day, but at least you'll have it recorded on your phone to where you can take a look at it and be able to evaluate yourself. So your story, again, is going to be used by God. Those feelings, we all have different types of feelings. You're going to help to connect others with how God moved in your life and how he helped you overcome a struggle or a problem that you had. Thank you for telling your story. We'll have you send that recording on your phone over so that we can take a look at it and just kind of know what your story is. But thanks again, and keep in mind, God is going to use you in a mighty way.